Welcome everyone to Cocktail Sunday here at Claire Agrippina. What is Cocktail Sunday? It's Sunday but with cocktails, where I try and catch up on all the work I was meant to do in the week. But with cocktails. But you're not here to talk about my shampoo dependency. We're here to talk about Fantastic Beasts and where to find them, which I've now seen twice. And we'll talk general thoughts and then spoiler section. So, general thoughts. It was an okay movie. A lot of elements were great, and then a lot of elements weren't. It was one that didn't quite come together as a whole for me, but I certainly enjoyed it. The best thing about it was the character of Jacob Kowalski, who is our Muggle nomad, brought into the wizarding world. We haven't had a character like him before, and he was just a delight. He showed a lot more development and I feel actually empathy than Newt did. Newt was a Cartoon Planet Power Ranger type person. They honestly had the humans are the real monsters, and we get that, we know. You have to try and say it in a way that's new or bring some nuance to the statement. Otherwise, you're just going to come across as a environmental fundamentalist without any regard for how the fact that the environment and humans do have to coexist, and that yes, it means give and take on both sides. Not just that he's saving beasts that are being trafficked and all that, he's continuously letting them out accidentally. He doesn't seem competent enough in his abilities to keep them safe and therefore keep the people around him safe, which is a problem. The beasts themselves were awesome. Niffler is gotta be like the most market-tested thing in the world, and I don't care, I love it. It is this adorable little platypus that wants to steal shiny things, and I love it. It can have all of my shiny things because it's wonderful. In terms of some problematic representation, New York is quite whitewashed. There are 3 characters of darker skin tone, and one of them's a non-human, but in terms of like general shots of New York, like every extra seems to be white, which is just, I know some people have definitely taken an issue with that, and I can understand that. It's definitely an area the movie should be doing better in. There's also a character who suffers child abuse, and the movie seems to want to do something with it, but it's not quite good enough to actually really say anything other than it's bad. And so it just comes across as a bit more cheap emotional ploy rather than really looking into it and really seeing a character affected by it develop it. So yeah, the more I think about it, and probably the more I see it, the more problems I will be able to find with it. However, like I said, it's fun. If you're just looking for special effects and fun times, this movie will if you're just looking for special effects, a few good lines, some nice comedy moments, then this movie will serve you well. And it's definitely got a lot of the whimsy that we know from the Harry Potter universe, because a lot of it is seen through the nomad Jacob. Alright, so now we need to talk spoilers, and we're going to talk the big spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, go away. Flee. Yes. So throughout the movie we've got Colin Farrell being our pretty obvious bad guy, and they do accurately foreshadow the twist where it's revealed that he is actually Geralt Grindelwald. You know who I mean. and they swap it over for a brief cameo by Johnny Depp. And there's a couple of things that annoy me. One is Johnny Depp's inclusion. He's, even ignoring the fact that he's a wife beater, the quality of him as an actor has been in steady decline for a long time. And I say this as a serious former fangirl. Like, I covered my walls with pictures of him. But he's not, even ignoring the social element, which you probably shouldn't ignore, he isn't a good enough actor to bring across a villain of that magnitude in 30 seconds. Very few actors are good enough. You would honestly need an Anthony Hopkins or a Christopher Lee, someone who's just commands that presence. And he can't do it. He just can't. So aside from the actor detracting from the impact of that, there was also the fact that I kind of would have liked it more if Colin Farrell had just been a follower of Grindelwald, because he would have been his own interesting villain. And who is Newt to Grindelwald? Why do we care? Like, this isn't Voldemort and Harry. These aren't a villain and a hero who are inherently connected, who have this tie that you can build off of and explore. If it wasn't for the fact that he mentions him once or twice, you'd get no inclination that Newt even knew who Grindelwald was. And the only line from Grindelwald is a throwaway line about, "And what does Albus Dumbledore think is so special about you?" which definitely can be read as a little bit of jealousy, considering their history. But again, it's nothing. If Grindelwald was actually using beasts, if his plan actually involved hurting magical creatures, then you could understand why it would be connected with Newt. But Newt doesn't seem to care at all if the magical world is exposed. He doesn't give a shit. Shown by how reckless he is with this case, and how cavalier he is towards no-magers. Newt Scamander, and part of this is the actor, Eddie Redmayne, is great at playing one particular flavor of person. He's great at playing himself. He's intelligent but underestimated, nice but socially awkward. That is the majority of his good roles. Granted, I haven't seen all of them, but the ones I have seen, that's what it's been. The only time he's really stepped out of that role was Jupiter Ascending. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I can sum up the tone of that movie very easily into say that there is a gun that barks when it's fired. Woof. Anyway, so Eddie Redmayne doesn't bring much to Newt Scamander other than the fact that he's nice. He's definitely compassionate towards those in need. Those in need, however, are mostly magical creatures rather than humans. And that doesn't get challenged at any point. At no point does he have to decide between a magical creature and a person. At no point does he see the consequences of his actions. Actually, that's probably my biggest complaint now that I have had a chance to really think about it. There's no real consequences for Newt through the movie. He doesn't get challenged for opening this case. The love interest character who does challenge him about that is framed as being wrong. Immediately afterwards, she's apologizing for what might happen to these creatures, and that is a legitimate concern. But he still was risking lives and doesn't seem to care about it. And the movie never addresses it. It just kind of goes, yeah, but we've got Grindelwald to deal with, and yes, bigger bad, I understand that. Still. So that's all I really have to say about it. I've already rambled on far longer than I'd planned to, but that's what happens during cocktail Sundays.